all of you, and welcome to the Inlaks Fine Art Awards ceremony for 2025. In our newsletter last year, our chairperson, Mr. Azad Shivdasani, quoted Michelangelo, who said, "I saw an angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." Perhaps that's what the foundation is about, allowing what's there to come out. In enabling and allowing what's there to come out, 1,300 young and talented Indians have been supported since 1976 by the foundation across the 20+ opportunities that we offer each year, including scholarships, fellowships, awards, grants, internships, residencies, and more, given in fields such as the humanities, sciences, social engagement, conservation, and the arts. Coming now to the arts opportunity at the foundation, it was in 1982 that the first scholarship to study the arts was given to Rekha Rodvitia, and since then we've had over 50 scholars go overseas to pursue the arts. Over the years, there was a need felt to support the individual in the arts. In response to this, the Inlaks Fine Art Award was initiated in 2004 and has to date supported over 100 young artists. Our Flourishing Arts program has been inspired and shaped by the vision of our chairperson. He says, and I quote, "In the fabric of modern day Indian democracy, one of the most important threads is freedom of expression. Our artistic community, including writers and poets, are the keepers of the flame of this vital freedom, and they make sure it burns bright and dances in myriad ways across our land. This is why the foundation considers our artists to be amongst our living national treasures." The Fine Art Awards, around which this evening has been organized, is recognized as one of the most coveted awards for emerging artists in the country. The award is usually presented to 5 young artists each year, all recent university graduates. They are supported financially for a year and are required to attend a month-long artist residency in India. This year's artists have been chosen by a distinguished jury comprising Sheila Gowda, Sanchayan Ghosh, Sehaj Rahal, and Amita Malkani. We cannot thank them enough for spending long hours to identify the awardees through a rigorous selection process, and hence we express our eternal gratitude to them. We're thrilled to begin this evening with a showcase of a short excerpt from a project by Shaheen Ahmed, our Inlaks Asia Art Archive grantee for 2024. Titled A Sea All Waves, the project is a hybrid feature film he is currently developing. To share more about the grant and specifically talk about Shaheen's work, I would like to invite Sneha Raghavan, Head of Asia Art Archive in India and Senior Researcher.
For today's showcase, I introduce the recipient of the Inlaks Asia Art Archive Art Grant in 23-24, Shaheen Ahmed. Shaheen, who is joining us today from Athens in Greece, where he's on a residency, is a researcher and filmmaker from the Malabar coast of Kerala. Through his ongoing practice, he explores themes of memory and identity, particularly focusing on the intersection of Islamic mysticism and collective spiritual imaginations within these contexts. For the grant, Shaheen's project explored aspects of the Sufi cosmos and spiritual imagination within the collective memory of the Lakshadweep Islands, rendered through a hybrid feature film. Shaheen will briefly introduce the film that has emerged as an outcome of this research project, after which we will screen a short excerpt of it. Over to you, Shaheen.
Thank you, Sneha and Priyanka. First of all, congratulations to all the Inlaks Fine Art Awardees. I couldn't join the event in person, but I am happy to be part of it somehow and share a few things about my project that I've been working on. As Neha mentioned, I have been working on this project in Lakshadweep Islands for the last 1 year with the support of Asia Art Archive Inlaks Art Grant. The idea of the project was to render the research and fieldwork on the Sufi traditions of Lakshadweep Islands into a hybrid feature film. For this, I have been conducting audiovisual fieldworks and been collaborating with writers and artists to create a film that combines documentary material and scripted fictional sequences, which are inspired from the island folklore and other traditional narratives from the region. First of all, I wanted to show you a short excerpt from the film that is being developed.
ഫിനിഷുള്ള ഓമന പോവേ ഇതിനു മുന്നേ എഴുതിയ കത്ത് നിക്ക് കിട്ടുവാൻ മുന്നേ നാം പിന്നെയും എഴുതേണ്ടതാണ്ടോ? വലിയ ശീലാണിയൊക്കെ കടൽക്കാറ്റ് വന്ന് തലോടേരം നാ ഇറങ്ങിപ്പോയി. അപ്പം ഇല്ല നാ ഒരു കിനാവ് കണ്ട് 7 കടൽ പൊട്ടുണ്ടേന മേലുള്ള ഒരു ചുമന്ന നല്ല മൊഞ്ചുള്ള ഒരാമ ഏറി വന്നിന്. ആമയേക്കാൾ നന്നെ തന്നെ നോക്കണ്ട്. എന്തോ ഒരു കൽപ്പന കൽപ്പിക്കണ്ട പോലെ. റങ്ങണ്ട എന്നെ പിടിച്ച് വലിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് പോയി കടലേ കളിച്ച് മലത്തി കിടത്തിന്. കടൽ നനഞ്ഞ് പുറം കടലിലേക്ക് ഒഴുകേണ്ടേരം കുപ്പായ കീശയ്ക്ക് വെളുത്തമൺ നിറഞ്ഞിന്. കീശയ്ക്ക് കനം കൂടേണ്ടേരം ശ്വാസം മുട്ടിയ പോലെ. ഫൂവേ നിന്ന മണത്താ ബേർപ്പ് നിപ്പം ഫോണ്ട പോലെ. എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവില്ല. കുടിച്ചറവേ കാനത്ത് കാമിലത്ത് മണികൾക്ക് കാനത്ത് കാമിലത്ത് ആഹത്തി ബാഹത്തി ജംഹത്തി താലക്കുട്ടൊരുക്കു താമത്തി
Thank you so much, Shaheen. We have about 5 minutes for Q&A, so in case anybody from the audience has any questions for Shaheen about his project, please feel free to ask. I thought maybe I'd kickstart this conversation with a question, Shaheen, that struck me when I first saw the excerpt as well of the film, which is that, I mean, typically mysticism, spiritualism, dreams, all of these are understood as belonging to the domain of the sensorial, the affective, whereas the archive is often understood as belonging to the rational, the intelligible sort of order. So could you maybe share a little bit about why you wanted to think with the idea of the archive for this project, or how you were doing that?
Yeah, for me, when I began the research around the Sufi traditions of Lakshadweep, what brought me closer to it was the sensorial experience that these traditions possess. Especially, I'm from the Malabar coast, and we have a lot of cultural and Sufi tradition that is in exchange happening. And I realized that it is almost impossible to picture these, or to almost impossible to retell these traditions through the conventional understanding of archives. So I was wondering how I can approach this world of Sufi mystical experience sensorially rather than the materiality of those traditions. And I tried to study these traditions through the conceptual framework of the Sufi mystic, Andalusian Sufi mystic Ibn Arabi. And there's a concept that he often comes back to in his text, which is called khayal, which can also be said as spiritual imagination that exists in fluid space that is in between reality and fantasy. So these ideas led me to plan a hybrid film that would blend the documentary images and sounds along with uh, imagined sequences, which is inspired from the field work that I've been doing in the islands. And I think this experience of the film would work as a different archival experience for the viewers that would inform and bring curiosity in viewers about the Sufi traditions of Lakshadweep.
Shaheen, for sharing both your work and the journey that you've undertaken to create it. We wish you the best and look forward to the full version of the film. So now to begin the award ceremony, may I request Sahej Rahal to introduce the first two Inlaks Fine Art Awardees who will take you through a presentation of their practice.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us, and it's been an absolute honor to be part of the jury with Amita ma'am, Satrayan and Sheila who couldn't be with us today.
By art practice, adopt a multidisciplinary approach, assembling narratives and forms that explore social, political absence and disappearances. Through materials, processes, and the interplay of presence and absence, I develop site-specific works, ephemeral installations, experimental paintings, and intervention of printed photographs. Those creations aim to spark critical dialogue about material culture, impermanence, and the transient nature of human existence and the fragile nature of our creations. The process of erasing is a fundamental characteristic in my practice, and materialistic perishability also plays a significant role. Here, erasing not only becomes an underlying gesture of political and social commentary, also an open dialogue on our manipulative nature and power dynamics.
And I've been told that in the interest of time, I'm going to do a very quick introduction. So Viswajit's practice is absolutely terrifying as well, because he raises these specters from beyond the lines that we draw on these maps, you know, the places that we call home, our land, our place, you know. So when you kind of like peer into these sort of voids that lie beyond those lines that we draw on those maps, that's where Viswajit is drawing these specters out from. And it is absolutely terrifying. I hope you continue to scare me.
This is not just about land or the tall grass, it's about the stories hidden beneath. Stories erased, fragmented, multi-layered, and left unresolved. My practice explores these silences, the weight they carry, and how they shape our understanding of the past and the present. I began by examining Assam's political history through archives, discovering how institutional archives differ and how power controls representation through visuals, often erasing certain narratives. These archives reflect the authority of those in power, shaping what is visible and what is concealed. The mask becomes a tool of resistance, symbolizing not only what has been erased, but also what faces eraser.
Introduce Ritika Sharma. Ritika, can you come up here? And maybe she can talk to you about her work. Ritika is from Delhi, and during the interview it was fascinating going through her journey with her. It's a lot of the personal, as is in everyone's work, but the way she put it across was very moving.
This train is under CCTV surveillance.
Hi, I am Ritika and I'm an artist based in Delhi NCR. Living on the outskirts of the city, traveling and navigating in and out of public spaces has inevitably been a part of my day to day life. This has been a complex arrangement of everyday occurrences that induces a sense of discomfort in many instances, but also includes trivial moments of care. These experiences have allowed me to be an observer in transit and eventually realize the personal as political.
My pleasure to introduce Swapna Haldar. Swapna, do you want to talk about your work? Swapna now works in community, taking her work to a community.
My art practice is more nomadic and gradually evolving and changing its shape through the understanding of my surrounding. I see art as a healing tool, a beacon of hope in an ever evolving world. I am a multidisciplinary visual art practitioner hailing from West Bengal. I weave narratives across mediums like drawing, painting, film, stop motion, photography, sound recording, etc. My upbringing in a lower middle class family, growing up seeing my mother and women in my surrounding doing daily struggle for their existence, observing the struggle of womanhood very closely, it has shaped me as vulnerable and strong at the same time, which impacted me in my image making in a strong way. Primarily, my practice was more individualistic, where I employ non-linear narratives to evoke emotions through fragments of personal memories. But later on, I felt an urge to take my practice in a transformative way where I feel my art can become a voice to speak the unseen truth of women who shares the same stories as my mother, who have buried their dreams long back. So, in my recent body of work, I immersed my individualistic practice in a more collective way.
It's the last name in the list, but it's not the that way the last person. I think one of the more, very important practitioner of this group, Vanshika Babbar. May I request her? She is a fantastic painter, but also a multidisciplinary artist who delves in different forms of, again, engaging with the personal and the familiar.
I'm a multidisciplinary artist working across mediums like painting, video and AR installations, zines, to name a few. There are a lot of stray thoughts, popular references, citations, memories that I try to assimilate into one single image or moment. I had a habit since childhood of being overly sensitive towards the minute details of communication amongst people. Voluntary and involuntary facial expressions, rhetorical strategies, the multiple acts, performances, operations of power in interpersonal relationships. But what started off as perhaps an unhealthy, autistic overinvestment in reading each gesture as a sign of something else, slowly turned into a deep interest in portraiture or faciality. My paintings can also be seen as caricatures which try to uncover from within the notional regularities of the face traces of impending biases and certain disavowed truths, and my overinvestment in the textures of flesh has some relation to my interest in disavowal. All of my works across mediums, at least at some level, try to grapple with the question of what it means to be complicit.
Many thanks to all these wonderful artists for sharing their work with us. I'd like to invite all of them back here and open the floor to any questions the member of the audience may have. Please come. If anybody has questions or comments, please. questions? Shall we move to giving them their awards? Amita, may I request you to do the honors? So, Akharta, just a round of applause. Visvajit. Ritika. Swapna. Manchika. While it may seem like we're a small team, the real team, rather the hands and legs of the foundation, remain its growing alumni and an equally large number of well-wishers and committed individuals. In fact, many present in the room here. I can see Mushir. Mushir, thank you so much. The beautiful brochures that you see have been completely designed by Mushir. Tushar, Shaina, Ashwath, Faiz, Jeannie, Anush, Virangana, Sandhya, Anish, and if I'm missing someone, please forgive me, who take time out each year and help us with our selection across our opportunities. We're truly grateful and appreciate their support, which enables us to fulfill the vision of the foundation. Thank you to the IFB team, and last but not the least, thank you to each one of you for having come on a Wednesday evening to one end of the city to support and encourage our young artists. Thank you very much.